Call a meeting to order. Say pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business is minutes of council meeting on July 10th.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve minutes from July 10th council meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You don't have August 1st?
No, I was just kind of
Okay. Okay, next thing is a wage and salary ordinance.
yes.
We've introduced it, and now it needs to be adopted.
So there's some changes that I forgot about. So we have, Ben got his CDL, so he got a dollar raise. And then there's, Matthias, he is at his 90 days. And then there is Nate, effective in July. And I think that's it for now.
Did you see that, Donnie?
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
This was introduced, we just need to adopt, so correct.
Yes.
This is already introduced, it's just be adopted.
I would move we adopt ordinance number 9, 2023, effective date June 12, 2023, and July 3rd.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 9, 2023. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, next thing on the agenda is an edit loan. Revolving loan. And Jay, Noel is, as Abbott's, is asking for $22,700, $450.
240. 22,240.
I just can't find the amount. Okay,
It's on page 2.
there it is. I got it, yeah. Next page. Okay, 22,240. We met as a loan committee, and we recommend that this council approves this loan. That would be Chris, me, Julie, and Brian.
And just so you're all aware, I've prepared a resolution and a promissory note along those lines for the $22,000 and change, payable over 10 years, 2.5% interest. It's a real nice way to help your community and do so with rates that are much more tolerable than you can find anywhere else. And just so that everybody can hear, it looked like they were doing some things with infrastructure, they were doing some things with business operations, doing some things with machinery, so it's $22,000 spread over a number of different projects. You all considered them, but they're generally referenced in the resolution as well.
Oh, you can, that's right. Fred can't
I'm abstaining.
participate, so.
I'll move to.
Go ahead.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve resolution number 4, 2023, the loan application for Abbott's Candy.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 4-2023, which is a resolution approving an addendum to a loan from the town revolving fund. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
And then if you want to start just looking through and reading through, it's very similar to the one you did a number of years ago.
I knew it. Okay. Next item is SRO agreement.
Here's the one if council could sign. and then alternative school. Adam looked over and said they just, the only changes was the ones that I've made you guys aware of.
So we either need to accept or decline.
Anybody have any discussion? I make a motion that we accept the SRO contract agreement with Nettle Creek School Corporation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt Nettle Creek School Corporation and Hagerstown Police Department School Resource Officer Management Agreement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving right on. Okay, EDC. There you are.
It was a very short meeting today. Only thing we really voted on was to approve the budget for 2024 for this Optimize IT. It's their IT company they deal with, and they have a 2% increase, and they pay $754.53 per month to this IT company that helps them out. Again, I will send you the minutes of the meeting today, so that was really the only thing we voted on, and a very short meeting.
That was quick. Okay, Chamber is Brian, he's not here. Parks,
No meeting.
Police,
Just a couple of quick things. We, HPD got awarded a $4,000 grant from the drug-free Wayne County this past week towards the K-9 program. So for 2023 so far, HPD, we have received $61,500 in grants. Like I said, big chunk of that was the $50,000 we'll be using to upgrade to the new portable radios. And then we also received $7,500 from the Reed Foundation, and then the $4,000 from the Drug-Free Wayne County grant. The only other thing I had was I did get our road closure permit. What they've done the last 2 years is instead of issuing an entire new permit, they just extend the previous one for another year. Initially, they denied it because of the road closure on 38. They said they couldn't have 2 road closures within a certain amount of distance, but did some begging and pleading, and since it's just going to be for the amount of the time for the parade, they went ahead and approved that. So we're good for that for Jubilee morning for the parade. Other than that was all that I had. Other than the SRO contract.
have you thought about the usage of the opioid funds that we've got last year?
I have talked a few times with SROs about it, and we're going to meet shortly after school starts and they get back in there. Kind of task them over the summer to come up with some ideas, and then we're going to discuss that probably in the next couple weeks, and then once we come up with some ideas, I'll bring that back to you guys.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Rick?
I gave you guys copies of my report earlier. It's another busy month for July with the fly-in we had, and also with the 4th of July. So we had total 25 runs for the month. 17 were EMS runs. We're averaging about anywhere from 13 to 17 EMS calls a month. So that's and our runs compared to this time last year are down. So that's a good thing. So hopefully they'll stay down. We are looking for a new member. I really didn't want duties for failure to show up and participate, so I really didn't have his duties. So we're looking for a new member. We'll be helping out with Jubilee Days for the parade as usual, and also we'll be having our inflatable safety house down there blown up for the kids to come and go through. And basically that's about it. So.
Does anybody have any questions? Thanks. Chris?
Wastewater treatment plant, we've got a couple sewage issues out on the west side with the Tidewater lift station. and Cooley is replacing that pump, and I'm working to get some additional customers out there for us on our sewage, and that will actually help the pump situation. It will run more frequently that way, which will be an improvement. Water department, we have had some small water leaks, mainly on service lines, that kind of thing. We've been able to get this fixed fairly quickly. Electric department, we have had numerous outages with bad weather this past month. We've been able to get those repaired in a fairly timely manner. We are still having a ton of issues with Frontier and Comcast lines. We had some issues this afternoon, in fact, with a Comcast line that was too low and a truck that ran into that, bringing our lines down. So they've just not been very responsive at all, as you can tell by the cones that were behind Speedway for a couple weeks. So I don't know, I'll try to make us some additional calls and see if we can get them more proactive on that. And I don't know if there are any, Adam might know, are there any communities that have, if you don't get in here and replace a pole in X number of days, you'll be fined? Is there any kind of thing like that we could?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to go through some of their ordinance books to see what.
So there's some situations where it's safety related, I would say.
Oh, I'm sure.
As far as, yeah. But, okay.
I'll look into it for you.
If you could look into it, that'd be great. Streets department, I did apply for the community crossings grant, and that would be for West North Market Street, the west end of West North Market Street towards the cemetery, South Elm Street, Clay to Teeter, and then all of Paul R. Folk. That would be included in that. It's a 75% grant this year, so we pay 25%, state 75%. One thing I mentioned in a couple of other meetings was getting a machine for repairing cracks in our asphalt, and I did get some quotes on those. If you might recall seeing a machine that looked like that. We've rented them before in the past and used around town. So the quotes I was getting were ranging in price from $51,500 to $57,000, and those are $57,750. Those are used machines. I would like to buy one. I would propose, and Julie and I were talking about this afternoon, if I could get like half of the funding from American Rescue Fund and then half from the NVH fund, we think that would work as far as purchasing one. So I don't know if that's something I need to run through council since it is exceeding $50,000.
So if we buy one, is there a plan to use it?
Yeah.
I mean,
and we did.
If you rent one, then you designate a day that you rent it. And so is there a plan to actually?
Here's the thing, it's like a weekly rental or a bi-weekly rental, and it's every time we rent it, it's like $5,000 or $6,000 to rent one. And what will happen a lot of times then, if you have a water leak or a power outage or it rains, then you're not able to get as much usage out of it. You know what I mean? If you had one on hand and then you had your summer kids here and you had spare time and it wasn't raining and there wasn't mowing that needed to be done and there wasn't a water leak, then you could do it. So it's more.
You're able to devise a plan to actually use it more often.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Rather than just having.
And you guys have time to do that, right?
There is time to do it, but it is scattered. It's not all. It's not like we have time the first week of August to do it or the first week of July. It's because there's still the mowing and all the other things that need to take place. So.
Silly question, we have a place to store it too?
We do. Yeah, we'd have a place to store it. Correct.
Cost of maintaining it? Is there a cost associated with it?
I'm sure there would be. It's a fairly simple machine, but there would probably be, every 3 or 4 years some kind of servicing that would need to be done on it, assuming.
I don't know what it is. I mean.
Yeah. One reason for getting it too is with the community crossings grant. Now, when you apply for it, they want to see your asset management plan, which they don't want you just to say we're going to repave the streets every 10 years or every 15 years. We're going to try to crack seal them every 3 years. We're going to try to do things to do a chip seal, which in town I don't think anyone would want to do a chip seal, but we're going to try to do things to make the pavement last as long as possible.
Having used community crossing grants the last several years and almost replaced the whole town with streets, is there a justification at this moment? Like, do we see the need within the next year and a half, 2 years to really need the machine at the moment, or?
I think if you look at, a perfect street to look at, if you look at North Market Street here, just on the north side of the fire station, it is alligator cracking really badly, and it's something that if we had this machine, we could extend the life of it. Without it, I would say we're probably gonna have to be remilling that and paving within like the next 3 or 4 years. And it's just, for whatever reason, it's worn really badly this year. If we were to crack seal it, I would think we could probably get 7, 8 more years out of it.
And I know another community, I think I've mentioned this before, has reached out to me and said if we had one of these type of machines, these crack pot sealing machines, that they would want to use it. So it's something that we could probably, with our labor, if we could, might be able to work some type of co-op with them. Is that something that you've heard from anybody else?
I've not heard that from anybody else. We have had situations where we've swept the town of Greens Fork once or twice before for our street sweeper. And so, there are always those types of situations where we can help out a smaller community like that.
If it's gonna be utilized, and it sounds like we got a plan to utilize it.
Do we want to make a motion at a certain dollar amount not to go over? Because I think he just gave us a range between 51.5 and 57, so is that fair, Adam, to say,
Not to exceed,
Not to
and
exceed.
do your best you can. You don't have to buy the first one you see, but give them authority to, or you can just tell them, we think it's fine, go out and do the best you can. He'll be able to come back to council if it's an emergency session, because there's 4 other buyers in line, you can expedite, or you could say, hey, I've got this, the people have waited, and now I wanna authorize it, and then you kinda know the price range, he knows where you feel, but nobody's locked in. Probably that second option, when you're negotiating from a municipality standpoint, is a little better.
To just go ahead and authorize up to a certain.
Well, I think it'd be better to say, hey, we like this plan, go out, find the best one you can, you've told us the price range, that's kind of our expectation, if you can do better, we sure like that too, but when it's time to actually spend the money and buy it, come to us with that figure, and it seems to me that, you've got some sort of inclination that it's gonna be approved. He's addressed your questions, they were all really good questions. So that might be the way to go, so that for some reason, if Joe Crackpot Seller is out there, he doesn't know that he needs to jack his prices all up to $57,000.
Chris, what did you say the split was between the 2 funds you would use?
I would do like a 50-50 split, so it would,
MVR.
yeah, correct.
I mean, it's fair to say that if you go out and you find one of these, most of these dealers, with you being the town manager who just received 400 pounds of candy,
Yeah.
they would be able to hold for you for a moment.
I think that would be
that's
fine.
probably the better path.
And that would give you a firm number then to go off
Yeah.
of, that would be fine.
What was the amount of the low bid?
The 51,500 to 57,750 was the range.
Unless you have one right now that you want, but if you've got to go look around, and now that you've got council kind of a nod of approval that we think we can go that route, if you want to explore more, I mean, that's kind of where my suggestion's
Okay.
coming from.
That works for me. Okay. So I'll get a firm number back to you, and then we can look at that. Alrighty, as far as going on down here, a number of us attended, in fact, I think 5 or 6 of us in this room attended a solar eclipse meeting at IU East, and it was very informative. It was meant for everyone in Wayne County, or meant for people from Wayne County to attend. We're still working on that. Met with Autocar, the EDC, trying to work on a plan there to get them some more room for expansion. Trying to see what else we have here. Met with Sarah Mitchell from the Wayne County EDC about housing in Hagerstown. There is going to be, I know blighted housing kind of came up at the last council, and I kind of have explained some of the blighted properties that have been removed there in the last 7 years. We've taken down quite a few blighted housings. Let's see here. So Sarah says there is going to be another program that's coming up. The last one that I applied for, the last grant, was an IHCDA program. This is an OKRA program that's supposed to be coming up in 2024 to purchase and remove blighted housing. And the last thing there, I'm working on trying to replace our information sign with a new double-sided LED sign. This would replace the sign that's out in front of Precision Wire. I've kind of relied on Planning Commission a little bit to give me some ideas for where we might locate that at, if we should locate it in the existing location or try to move that. That's something I'm up for suggestions on that.
Chris, I forgot to mention that I have arranged that meeting between him and EDC for AutoCard, but wasn't able to attend it myself. But how did that go, and is there anything I need to do to help push that along? Or I asked Valerie about it today, and we was in a meeting and she didn't expand on it. So.
I think it went well, and that AutoCar is planning on expanding as far as increasing employees and their daily production. It's going to be supposed to be increasing greatly in the next year. The projects that they were planning, though, I think it's going to be a minimal amount of room for expansion, and I feel like they need something a little bit larger maybe than what we're able to obtain on their existing site. So that would be my gut feelings on it, but I thought it went pretty well.
Good. Back to the eclipse. Gary, did you get the memo about classes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to check. We have to order them by Friday.
Correct. Do you have any information on building commissioner's position? Is it still up in the air?
We did interview one person, and the planning commission is supposed to interview him Wednesday night, or he's going to have a meeting with the planning commission Wednesday night. He's still interested.
Skipped over you.
That's perfectly fine. I don't have anything other than kind of what you're probably gonna mention a little bit, maybe or maybe not, and working with Chris and the SRO, I'm just kind of behind the scenes stuff right now for you.
Julie?
I do not have anything, but I think you skipped over.
Airport and like
And airport. You skipped over part of Hagerstown Airport and
Planning. Oh, airport. I found that you can rent banks of showers, like 8, 10, just in a row, and they will bring the water if you don't have water, and you can do the same with porta potties. I was surprised.
Okay, yeah. At the Oshkosh Fund, they actually have trailers that we mount in, and just bring the whole trailer and set it there and do things like that, so.
That was pretty inventive. Okay.
A couple things. The beacon lights are finally working, appreciate that. They happened on the same day that NDOT inspector came to inspect the airport. I haven't heard anything yet, so I'm hoping to hear back this week about, I assume we passed, or else he would have said something immediately. There's an EAA fly-in breakfast this Saturday if anyone wants to come out and enjoy, 8 to 10:30 or so. And I already talked to Chris about Aaron Connell approaching us about doing something for the, has he talked to you? Okay, about doing something during the eclipse. He came to our meeting on Monday, so I figured I'd mention it to you guys and talk to you afterwards if you like. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks. Planning? Did we meet?
No.
We did not, because of the fly-in.
Right. We did not meet because of the fly.
Okay.
Don't forget.
Gary?
Heart of Hagerstown. We had our paper shredding event in cooperation with the WR board. Shredded about 3,300 pounds of paper that day. So thought that went well for the Hagerstown area and the county. We are working on a latex paint recycling event. Still trying to figure out the funding on it and the logistics there. and we are beginning our plans for hometown Christmas there, so.
So that's still gonna be the first weekend in
Mhm.
December?
Yep.
Okay.
That is what we have going.
Do any of you have anything? Okay. Have y'all had a chance to look at the claims?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve claims as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn this meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?